Hi, we're starting things up. We're coming on the air. It's gonna be it's gonna be a good time. As many of you know, currently working on a line of body positive miniatures, and that's our main goal right now is to get those out the door. Oh, sweet. Hi, Wello. I will be on after the stream. That may be too late for you, but I'm usually on in the afternoons and evenings, especially when there's no stream. Hi, Demon Dog, as well. In any case, this is not part of that line. This is something Katie made to see what all she could do with the printer. And after 3 tries at it, it looks really good. So let's switch over to that window so y'all can see. She put a stand on it, see, so that it could stick to the base. There we go. And that's our dragon pal. I'm very happy with this, and we're gonna paint it. Now, my first thought, unless anyone else has better ideas, I'm gonna do them as a. Oh, that is so bright. Let me fix that. That is just so bright. That's gonna wash everything out real bad. That might be better. Here we go. So I was gonna do their scales up in silver and metallic blue, unless anyone else has another suggestion that they'd like to see. Yes, Rosin. She's picked up on this stuff so fast, it's incredible. Hi, September. So, yeah, as I said, anyone want something other than the silver and blue? Because I am willing to try anything. I've got quite a few metallic paints as well. Like, we got pearly white, we got shiny green, red, 2 different shades of gold. Silver and blue are your safe colors. Gonna go with those. Very cool. Also, I'm gonna mention this ahead of time because this logo is gonna come up on stream. This is the dropper that I got, and it is in a legal cannabis tincture bottle. We are not sponsored by, nor do we directly endorse Zen Cannabis brand. Okay? This is just water. All right. Well, if no one has any preferences for not blue, then let's do the blue. It's going to be mostly silver. Let's grab our silver here. Basically, I wanted scales to be kind of a nice silver with a lot of blue brushed over it. Then I'm going to add inks to parts of the body. Other 10-to-1 THC CBD tinctures are available, but not as many as you'd think. I like how dragons creech too. Get some silver here. We're going to be pretty careful with how we paint this. I also don't know what color their nails should be. So when we're coming to stuff that's different colors, I'm going to ask the chat. Hi, Andy and Raiders. All right, let's get this centered so everyone can see it well. Here's for the Raiders. Look how cool that is. Made by hand. Walked off after asking about resin. Yeah, it's a resin print. A non-thermal plastic. Here we go. I guess this goes over here to make things easier. Hi, baby. Look how muscly they are, too. Silver on there. No, that needs to be thinned. That needs to be thinned, definitely. So we're going to do that before continuing. 1, 2, 3 drops. To start, the dropper makes this so much easier. Let's see. Resin printers are super cool. Hopefully, we're hoping that if the crowdfund goes well, we can get an even higher resolution one and offer even better miniatures. That's much better. It's going on very, very smooth now. I forgot to check ahead of time how thick the paint was. It turned out fairly. How's everyone doing tonight? Anyone else feeling artsy? And ours is the Anycubic Photon M3. Got one problem with it that doesn't show up unless you're specifically searching for that detail, in that it doesn't have a FEP frame. Means that you have to get their own special FEPs, which come pre-framed, and you can print out a frame, but to get it in a material that the resin won't melt, which is a thing, unfortunately, to get it in metal, even like aluminum, is over $100. On the other hand, these single-use FEP frames are super easy, even if they're a bit more expensive long term. So I don't mind it too terribly much, unless they suddenly stop selling them. Hey, beekeeper. Stream avatars, and there may be regret. Ah, okay. I think stream avatars are cool. They just don't fit my style in particular, I think. And I get this silver all over the body. Just wrapped up day gig shift and got a shower, still unwinding after spending several hours dealing with a network issue at a manufacturing facility. Oof. Sorry to hear. See what we got. I think I need to thin it a bit more because it's having trouble on some of these corners. My paint has trouble cornering on the dragon. That sounds like like something ChatGPT would claim. My favorite thing about ChatGPT is that it's very proud when it makes up a story. There we go. That's much squishier. And sometimes that's what you need out of your paint. Squishiness. Thank you, September. All right, see you when you get back, Willow. It's a living. Basically a fire captain for IT. Wish you were handling our fucking cable node. It sounds like you try and get things fixed. Hoping that the fact that they are upgrading or have upgraded their monitoring equipment means that this shit is actually over, but I do have my doubts. Internet's been kind of pooping out for a couple hours at a time, which I think might coincide with work being done. So, you know, that's a plus. Slash a minus, one of those. It's either a plus or a minus. Hi, Andy. It's a good dragon, too. I'm really impressed with a lot of the work Katie's put out on here. And my painting is also top notch, if I may be self congratulatory. It's my stream, so yes, I may be self congratulatory. All right. I'm going to need at least a couple layers in some of the larger spots. However, I'm going to use the larger brush for some of this. Go off that brush. This is what I call the large brush, and it's actually quite small, as you can see. Herd cats for a living. Primary duty is to drive to resolution and keep the team on track. I wish that um, that Cox Communications had that position, because it sure doesn't seem like they do. Here's hoping. Here's hoping it's all over now. Right. I'm getting some lumps in some of the thicker spots. Also a strange sentence that I've said today. So it's gonna be fun to brush the blue over this once we've got a nice layer of silver. So conscious crap, my professional opinion. I appreciate the agreement. I wish we had another option. Would have switched literal years ago. Like, yeah, all ISPs are terrible, but you don't know too many other streamers who have problems with their ISP on the level we do, huh? Because it's enough to make people give up. At this point, we're basically sticking it to them by continuing to stream. Oh. Ah, yeah, I remember that command. Right. So we are. Yeah, we're making more progress much quicker with this bigger brush. Get that groinal area. Oh, I remember that one too, September. Verizon has an NOC and their own MIMs. So I have an opposite number to ride and herd down the other side of the cats. I'm having trouble parsing all that, which is good because I spent 6 hours on a bridge with them. There was a thing people used to do on here where they'd come in and try to make new streamers think that they had given bits but hadn't really. Something you figured out after the first time and was just kind of annoying. Right, cool. I like how this is coming along already, even though I'm just doing one coat right now. I think it looks cool in silver. NOC is Network Operations Center, and MIM is a major incident manager. Think a cattle drive, but you put cowpokes on either side of the cattle to keep them focused. Okay, that makes sense. Now I get it. Fuck. Trying to figure out how to sit comfortably, but my whole body hurts really bad today. Now, one interesting thing about this type of print is that you'll see the underside of the wings are kind of geometric, for lack of a better word. If you want to avoid that, you have to print them separately. So the inside of the wing would face up. Because if the inside faces down, then repairing the model will alter that because it's physically impossible for the machine to print the underside without stuff being destroyed. I don't want to go into the geometry behind it, but it's kind of wild. Geometry in general, really wild stuff. Right. So, but basically, see, I've got a good way I can put this. Basically, if it printed the underside, since it prints upside down, then it would risk having liquid rosin inside of that part of the print, like a bowl. Getting a lot easier to see as the silver goes on. Oh, good. But yeah, if it's got just liquid resin cupped in it, that's not good for anyone. Right. We're getting there. We're doing it. We're making it happen. It's just really cool to be able to go, hey, I want a miniature like this to paint. And then it's just something that can be done over the course of a couple of days. Whoever considered the 4D Taurus Teslas, I don't think I could print that. I think my printer is only a 3D printer. So I cannot break down the walls between us and time itself. That on there. Just have to do the face here. As you can see, they've got a bunch of different horns. Got these twisty horns on top. This started out as a recreation of I believe, Dragon Quest III's cover art dragon, but then she got carried away and made her own cool thing. Found so many cool ways to put horns on a dragon. That snoot done. Go. Since there was a bunch of water used with this paint, we're going to have to wait a bit for it to dry. So get in there. I used to paint while playing a game. Can't really do that on stream. I guess I could just keep switching back and forth between Art and Final Fantasy XIV. But I feel like that'd be kind of a hassle. There's some more unfilled spots on the edges. There we are. Pum, 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 pum. That's a, wow, that's a reference I just made. Mobius Taurus. Let me take a look at this. Klein bottle, 3D entity with a singular surface. Yes, I do know the Klein bottle. Okay. Excellent. All right, cool. Ooh. Yeah, we're just waiting for it to dry now. Literally, we are watching paint dry. Wow, that silver shines bright though. I really like that. There should be a Klein bottle bong. I'm sure someone's thought of it and or designed it. Anyone else know the magic tune? It goes pum 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 pum. Sometimes I remember a thing and then realize I'm the only person in the world who remembers that thing. Yeah. You made a Hudson Brothers reference? Nice. Ah, I remember this picture. I have definitely seen that before, Willow. Hey, let me find, while we're watching paint dry, let me find, I can, Dragon Quest cover, Dragon Quest 3 cover? No, it's not 3. Which one is it then? Not 2. Dragon Quest 1? I'm just gonna have to go through all the numbers. Yeah, I found it. It's the original Japanese cover of Dragon Quest. If you look that up. Here's a link to the Switch Arcade page. And that's what it started out as. And you can still see that in how the hands are positioned and such. And then she just went to town. doing on dryness? Still a little tacky, but good for a second cover. All right, cool. Now we're just going to fill in the parts that aren't like clean. Da, 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 da. Anyway, Pom 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 is from Puddle Lane, which is a British children's show from the 80s that we watched religiously, and then could not figure out what it was called for years. And the magician, who was kind of a con artist character, but who also had real magic, was just very irresponsible. His magic incantation was pom 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 pom. Really liking Toby the Dragon, who was a little baby dragon who wore a big red coat. So, what was what? I am describing many things, so I've lost track of what the question could be about. Silver in there. The cartoon. Oh, Puddle Lane. Not a cartoon though. It was live action. For whatever reason, I absolutely adored it. It's also Under the Umbrella Tree, but people tend to remember that one more. A little less obscure. The Elephant Show. Fred Penner's Place, which is probably still pumping out new episodes. Eric's World. See, this shit is how you can tell I'm Canadian and in my 30s. Right? Silver is getting cleaner, which is what we want. Haven't decided on the colors for the horns and etc. Probably will decide soon. Excited to do the inside of the mouth too. Rows of tiny little teeth there. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Blue and black, like a sky or electric. For the nails, that could be good. Maybe I should make the tongue blue too, like a Gila monster or Gila monster, depending on where you live. or any of the highlights. This is going to be one of the big brushed on highlights, which, as you can see, is blue ice pearl. And then for the ink highlights, we've got some blue ink down here as well. Right. And now we're waiting for it to dry more. I may still need to touch up on it as we go, but it's looking pretty solid now. You could mistake that for a metal miniature. Got all these colors to work with too that you can see in the background here. These are mostly pre-thinned, which makes them a bit easier to work with. I'm going to do the solid stuff first. Then do highlights at the end. This dragon own an electric guitar? You know, they might. Now, it's not something that they bring out to parties or anything, but they like to jam on it every so often. They've left the glitz of the rock star lifestyle behind, though. This is the blue that I'm going to use for the tongue. I think I like that a lot. Let's actually do that right now. The teeth, I think, no, we can do pearly. We can just do a pearly white. We could even do white pearl on them, actually. Oh, I've got that around somewhere. Then they have metallic teeth. This dragon used to bring their guitar to parties a long time ago. Then they got a contract and they got screwed over by their label. Haven't felt that need to go back ever since. The rich tapestry we're creating about this cool dragon's life. Fuck. Ah. And shook. I'll need a bit more silver. So, got that deep dark blue in there. That might not show up well on camera, but it looks cool. It looks cool on my end. I need to silver over some of the splotches I've made. And now I have Jukebox Hero stuck in my head. Ooh. How about the Guitar Man? As we watch paint dry again. I like the Guitar Man. All right, so what color do we want the general claws to be? Who over there? He got the long hair. He's the Guitar Man. Who draws the crowd and plays so loud, baby? It's the Guitar Man. Who's gonna steal the show? You know, baby, it's the Guitar Man. I need to start lower on that one. Who draws the crowd and plays so loud, baby? It's the Guitar Man. That's what happens when you are told you have perfect pitch as a child. are not allowed to practice that and then smoke for 2 decades. Who's gonna steal the show? You know, baby, it's the Guitar Man. He can make you love, he can make you cry. He will bring you down, he'll get you high. Something keeps him going miles and miles away to find another place to play. Guitarzan, he's a guitar man. He's all you can stand. Give him a hand. Guitarzan. Very nice. So, no one has any opinions on nail color. And I guess we'll do my original idea of pearly white. Pearl is a subset of metallic shades. I don't actually know the difference. I know there is one, at least supposedly. Couple more drops in there to make sure he stays on the board. So it was 6. The silver, 6 drops. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Of course, that also depends on how much paint you put down. I ignored that. So stir that up real well. Night after night, who treats you right, baby? It's the Guitar Man. Who's on the radio? You go listen to the Guitar Man. I'm putting on the nail color right now. So that has to be fairly close to my face. So I apologize that you can't really see this as I'm doing it. Difference here is kind of mellow. I think blue ink over the nails and feet is going to help a lot, making that pop more. Toenails are done. Then he comes to town and you see his face. And you think you might like to take his place. Something keeps him drifting miles and miles away, searching for the songs to play. Then you listen to the music, you'd like to sing along, and you want to get the meaning out of each and every song. Then you find yourself a message and some words to call your own and take them home. Take them home. What you got here? I like singing, but it's a long time since I've been able to tell myself I'm a good singer. Sometimes you have everything working against you and you fail. Oh well. least we have more things to do now. Isn't it weird that people buy things to float above their baby cribs and watch them? little strange, yeah. All right, now we got to get the teeth. These are going to be good teeths. Side 2, I guess. Be really difficult to get that on the inside of the teeth. He can make you love, he can get you high. He will bring you down, then he'll make you cry. But something keeps him moving, but no one seems to know what it is that makes him go. Then the lights begin to flicker, and the sound is getting dim, and the voice begins to falter, and the crowds are getting thin. But he never seems to notice, he's just got to find another place to play. Fade away. That's the whole song. I like that song. Great. They just attached this bear and some hats to a spinny thing, and the hat spins, but the bear doesn't. It just watches. Oh, wow. What music does the dragon like? I think he's really into cake and other kinds of like folksy prog rock like that. And I think that's just a healthy thing for a musician to like, especially one who's been trampled by the music industry like this dragon. I like this dragon and no one else. Definitely not talking about anyone but this dragon, is what I'm saying. These horns curled up. Other horn. These curvy horns are so cool. Sometimes a single strand of dog hair will get on your nose, and then it's impossible to get off your nose because it just stays there. Allmusic.com suggests that if the dragon likes cake, it might also enjoy Beck, the Bare Naked Ladies, the Presidents of the United States of America, and King Missile. You know, I understand all of that except for the Presidents of the United States of America. It feels like there's very little crossover there. God. Gaston, quit being whiny, please. You can come up later, but not while I'm painting. Thank you. A bunch of other names on this list too. Oh, dang. Problem with these bands are similar is there's different reasons for liking bands, right? But I guess that's why I've never thought much of it. Pearly white is so similar to the silver right now. I thought they'd be a little more distinct. Well, the teeth look good in any case. Gas and I just told you to stop. Why do you walk out of the room and come back and do the same thing? Gas, you're being jerky. Please go. Shoo. Shoo. Thank you, baby. He wants to get right up where I am working so that I'll pay attention to him. New room, new me. Yeah, that's kind of the dog thing. So walk out of the room and come back in and see if you've changed your mind. He used to do it like 3 or 4 times. Usually he only does it once now. Not always, but usually. Huh. Ask if that was intentional. Oh wait, I see. It just looks short because of the position of his head. Thought he only had that horn on one side. That's strange and interesting. I like the thing that Pandora used to do back when it was an arm of the Music Genome Project, where when a song played, you could click a button and ask why. We've chosen this song because you appear to like heavily distorted guitar and lyrics about sad girls. Ah. Chosen this album by Kate because it appears you hate the music industry. So little claw horns on the winglings, wingling dragon. Those muscly arms back on him. It's pretty good. Coming out the back of his neck there. Trogdor was one of very few cartoons where Strong Bad second guessed himself. Isn't that odd? Because he draws the S's for Sucks Dragon and then starts over. Hey, this is coming along now. Coming along pretty good. The white stands out a bit more on the wings, on the wing horns, than on the nails. You drew a Trogdor once. Very cool. Night, Willow. Have a good sleep. Just got to get the fingernails there, and we can start on cool stuff like dry brushing in highlights. This is actually a much simpler paint job than on the smaller ones, which is interesting. Part of that is because it's large, and part of that is because since they're naked, there's a lot more just solid single color. You draw an S, then you draw another more different S. Eventually, this is what happens. Did I already do the fingers? I actually don't remember, and it's really hard to see the difference between colors. So I guess we'll do a second coat and or first coat regardless. Wait, we're getting there now. Heck yeah, we're getting there now. Be happy about that. Oh, you can see my knee. Oh no. A few spots here that I want to run a bit more silver over. Hopefully that silver is not too dry. Good, good. Usually when it's in a big glob, it doesn't dry as fast. We're getting there. Just going over some of the parts where the black is showing through more than I'd like. Draws the crowd who burns so loud, ladies, it's the Trogdor man. Well, make you burn. That's pretty much it. 'Cause he likes to burn all your shit. As expected, most of the places I have to scrub are the wings, all along the wings. To fill that, you know what? Way too much paint there. Do that, and we're going to specifically use the ink to highlight the eye sockets. If that doesn't work, I can just put black paint back in there. A bit of a Joker smile going on until I fix this. You know how I got these scars? Daddy was a painter and a fiend. One day, Mama used a dry brush. Daddy didn't like that. Not one bit. Right. So pretty soon we're going to start on the dry brushing. Lay back for a sec. My voice may fade slightly. My spine needs time to re-straighten. Big stretchies. Big stretchies. The new Enjoy season. Excellent. I'll pass that on to Katie. Or you can. Either way, really. Ever have to lay down for a bit to let all your bones and joints come out to relax? Yes. A lot. None of my stuff works right. I actually had to totally relearn to paint because my hands are too shaky to do it how I used to. But laying down for a bit helps, especially on soft things. Upper body slightly elevated is pretty good, especially if my back's out of joint. I don't have a slip disc or anything, I don't think. Everything hurts anyway. Hey. Burp. All right, we're gonna get some of this. So for dry brushing, we don't have to thin the paint because what you do, you take your dry brushing brush, you put some paint on that dry brushing brush brushing, just like that, and you wipe the vast majority of it off. And then you just go to town. Actually wiped off too much there. That's okay. All right. That is really good for highlighting edges. So these colors are similar enough that it's going to take a bit more work than that. It's a very interesting project, just in general. The crowded place so loud. See, it's the guitar dragon. Too much paint. Too much paint. Got the wings highlighted a bit. I don't know if that's coming through well on the camera. Not really. It's very subtle on my end, so it's even more so on y'all's. The kind of regretting this choice of colors. I think the blue ink is going to help a lot. The best feeling is getting high, then going to bed and feeling all of them come out a little bit. Now we shall do the thing. Especially go over like the fingers and toes. There's a lot of cool geometry. Cool geometry. Go, go. Oh, it's nice on the fingers. Yeah, the ink is going to do a lot of work when it comes to the highlights. Isn't too far off from how I usually paint, so no big deal. Giving up on the dry brushing, it's really not working. We're just doing basic strokes along these lines. Dry brushing would work if there was more contrast between these two colors. We don't, that's the neighbors. I already know what you're trying to bark at, and it's not necessary. I heard it too, it's okay. That looks probably exactly the same as before to y'all, but it's a subtle difference that I can see at least, which is funny. Maybe this looks better for y'all than I'm thinking because I do have Tritanopia. So maybe this is actually big and obvious and I'm fucking the whole thing up because it just all looks silver. Oh fuck. Oh, y'all tell me if that was the case, right? Is it really as subtle of a of a change as I think it is? Oh fuck, looks quite silver still. Alright. Yeah, you come over and see how it looks to you. Take it by the base.
Take it by the base. What areas am I looking at?
Or just around the edges of the wings, fingers, toes.
It still looks quite silver.
Okay, so it's not just me.
You can see a little bit of the blue when the light is hitting it, just perfect, but it is not.
It's not a heavy. It's not a heavy blue.
It's not immediately.
Okay. I was worried for a second when I abruptly realized that seeing blue against silver is probably not my forte. Slightly heavier stuff along the spine. Dragon creature looks silver. Hopefully when I do the ink washing, it's gonna help a bit. Next time I do a project like this, I'll pick colors with more contrast to them. Trying to lay it on a bit thicker now to get more of that sheen. Go. Yeah, I guess now's a good time to break out the ink, huh? Last thing to really paint on here is going to be the eyes, which have to go after the ink. Blue ink. That is not blue, that is green. Violet. That is also green. No, we had a blue, didn't we? I could have swore we had a blue. There it is. There it is. As we all know, or you will if you've watched my previous stream, it's even more important to thin out your ink than it is your regular paints. Because otherwise it'll just splotch and make things look dirty. Not in a fun way most of the time, though sometimes in a fun way. Okay, 3 drops of that. Add some water. It's like Bob Ross says, yes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's 2 to 1 water to ink. Looking good. That comes off of there. Oh, I think it needs a couple more drops. It's still staining really bad. 2, 3. Still staining a bit. 2, 3. Now we're at 4 to 1. This is some very high pigment ink. Go 5-1. 1, 2, 3. All right, I think that's done it. 5-1, geez. So let's start out on the fingers. It's looking pretty darn good. You know you've got it about right for highlights specifically. When it cools up in some places, and the places where it's not cooled are almost devoid of ink. Like here in these arm grooves. Go arm grooves. Just want it to rest in those grooves. And as it dries, the pigment will stay there without getting everywhere. Think knowing the right amount of ink versus water to use, something that takes a lot of getting used to. Depending on the ink, it'll take more or less because pigmentations are different. Same with how thick the ink is, or if you're using a thinning agent other than water. Those do exist too, even if I think they're generally a waste of money. Bit more glue in there. Here, the other arm now. Definitely blue enough, good. This one's a very, very deep blue. I like about long grooves and creases is you can just kind of paint through them like that. Ah, like that. Just like, oh, instant detail. Just add water, literally. It gives up. That's too much, man. Right. Making some good progress here. Gonna make there in the eye sockets too. Is where the last detail of the paint is going. It's on top of that ink. Pretty buff. Look at those muscles. What a buff muscle dragon. That's also the main antagonist of Ring Fit. Buff muscle dragon. That's one that I was surprised by how relatively little porno that crossed my screen. True. Seems like it would have been the thing people would have immediately latched onto to draw all the porn. Just believe you when I tell you that the porn is there. It is, I know, but it's not as massive an amount as I would have expected. Left a relatively small porn footprint. Now that's what we should be measuring from these big corporations. The porn footprint from their original characters. Get this to just sheen sheen blue, scraping a lot of blue ink just across it. Make it shine and sheen and some other Scottish sounding word. What's the porn of? Buff Muscle Dragon from Ring Fit. Breakdown seemed to be Muscle Dragon M Solo, Female Avatar X Female Wii Fit Trainer, and Muscle Dragon X Bowser. Lovely. All right. Good night, Beekeeper. Thanks for coming. Ink is still looking a bit splotchier than I'd like. I gotta get a feeling for this ink. Now I guess we watch ink dry. It's not coming out exactly like I'd intended, but I still like where he's at. Feel like if I wanted to, I could throw some blood stains on him. Say that he just killed a corporate CEO. Not a specific one, just like the platonic ideal of a corporate CEO. Not Bobby Kotick, no. God, Bobby Kotick is the platonic ideal of a corporate CEO, huh? The Shadowrun Dragon, exactly. I hope they don't fall. That. I'm going a bit more ham with the ink now because I didn't get the thinning exactly how I wanted. And also, since the metallic blue isn't showing up that good, I kind of want to give it this hue all over. The blue hue. I think that's pretty good, though. Oh, there's a few spots that look like there's a stain instead of a proper color. Those spots I can fuck with a bit more. Yeah, this has been an interesting one. Absolutely nothing like I planned. But I still like them. All right, let's let that dry for a bit. In fact, it's the perfect time to take a quick break. Yeah. See. The important thing about Bobby Kotick is he is literally the devil. And that's what comes up, or at least it used to be the first thing that came up when you searched his name on Google. Just him photoshopped into devil costumes. And I think that's beautiful. Remember that there is a civil rights movement happening around the country and the wider world. Black Americans, people of color, are fighting for things that should never have to be fought for, like equal rights, equal treatment under the law, to not be attacked, terrorized, and even murdered by the police. We have listed here some ways you can help, including the Bail Fund Network to help keep protesters out of jail, the Okra Project and the Black Trans Travel Fund to help Black, trans, and non binary people with food, supplies, and travel out of dangerous situations, and the Black Hills Legal Fund, the Lakota People's Fund, to take back their land, the Six Grandfathers, which was stolen by white people, arbitrarily renamed Mount Rushmore, and then had some white slave owners' faces carved into the side of it. Under the Second Commander Moore campaigns that you can help right now. These are all current. These are things you can put your time and money towards. I really would like it if you could click on some of these links and see what you can do to help. These are kept up to date by my Sib September. It's the Eternal September in chat right now. Please let it know if there's anything else that needs to go here. Black Lives Matter, the lives of people of color matter, Indigenous lives and lands matter, Asian Pacific Islander lives matter. These are things we have to keep saying and pushing and fighting for until the people all the way up to the very top not only understand and acknowledge them, but work to make them real protected truths. I guess now we're gonna go to the break, huh? I need to stretch, and Dragon needs to dry. Yeah, it looks really splotchy. I fucked up the ink. You know what? That's fine. There are only happy accidents in art. So I think that applies here. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to run some ads. We have no stance on ad blockers, so we'll see you back here in a few minutes. So it occurred to me on the break, I can still use this pearly blue paint to cover up some of the gunchier looking areas of ink. We'll get to see how that looks. This is just all experimentation now. Now I'm kind of excited about this thought. How's everyone else holding up? You excited? You excited for me to cover ink with paint? I know I am. Take this paint, put it over top of the ink. I'm glad you're excited. Go, yeah. And it doesn't totally cover it up either, because I've thinned the paint enough. It just fades it so it doesn't look quite, it doesn't pop quite as much and looks pretty nice. Oh, I like this. This was a good idea. Not all the ink is dry yet, so we have to be careful. Remember, if the ink isn't dry yet, that means it's carnivorous. Alcohol-based inks are, after all, apex predators. Thank you, September. Doing the YouTube editing, you haven't done it in a while. Well, glad you're managing to get around to it. Thank you. For the ink is dry, we must pray to money, money. That's true. You know, it still blows people's minds when I point out that money, money just means money, money. I like to see the look on their face when they realize it's 100% an anti-capitalist screed. Gives me a warm feeling inside. Or around big stains. Oh. Before the knife gets rusty, we must pray to money, money. Before the cake gets dry, we must pray to money, money. Moonside, the honest look at Fourside. Those games are all so fucking good. I know Each Way very specifically said he didn't want to do a Mother 4, specifically because what happened to Mother 3. That being, it was continuously delayed and or canceled for like 20 plus years. I think that's a shame, because I think there was a lot more in that well before it went dry. Right, we're almost got this. This is looking so nice with the metallic blue covering the ink. Oh, I'm glad I thought of this. Hopefully, at gets put on top, it doesn't create an even stranger effect. It'll probably create a beautiful effect. What am I talking about? It's gonna look amazing. It's gonna look amazing, because I'm a damn good artist. Even when something doesn't go right, I just get right back in there. Come up with a new way to make it cool. A nice ombre. Painting 3D printed models is a lot like making spaghetti in a way. I want to hear this. I think that's wonderful. It caught me off guard. You just keep throwing shit at a wall until it sticks. So I can definitely say that is true. Damn, that looks nice though. The real thick on the pearlescent blue, which is the opposite of what I expected to have to do with it. Funny, the blue ink is super high pigment, And then this blue paint is the opposite. Very interesting. Okay, now we gotta let more stuff dry. Wet the rosin, then you dry the resin. Wet the paint, then you dry the paint. Then wet the paint, then dry the paint. This is the process of making spaghetti. Huh. Well, when you put it that way, that does in fact make sense. I don't usually put paint in my spaghetti though. Let's see. Dang, it's too bad Twitch is actually hard on playing copyrighted recordings now. Thought about just putting on Guitar Man, but I know we'd get flagged for that. Big stretch. Doing the big stretch over here. What color should their eye be? Their eyes. Multiple, 2 eyes. I want it to be something bright that really stands out against the shimmer. I'm gonna look at my fluorescent paints. We haven't used any of the main color paints for this one because dragons are fucking metal. We're gonna need black to cover the stand, and we need something real bright for the eyes. Too bad I don't have a pearlescent black. What neon colors do we have? That's just regular ass white, isn't it? Yeah, that goes over here. See, we've got glow in the dark acrylic. Unless they're chromatic or planar. Got neon green. Let me see what the glow in the dark looks like. I imagine it's going to be that it's going to look fairly white in the light. That's going to glow that yellowy green. It definitely looks very white. So I was correct on that front. It looks like, I don't know, buttermilk. I think that stands out enough to use for this. As cool of an idea as it is. This green that I don't think is going to fit. Oh no, you fell over. Bright pink. Also bright orange, bright yellow. Also a bright blue, but I think that would be a bad idea. Orange would stand out, but I'm not sure how good it would actually look. I think pink or yellow is going to be our best bet. It's a very bright yellow. It's got good contrast to it. So I can tell them apart at a glance. That's what people need to do for color blindness is just make graphics with more fucking contrast. Funny. Yeah, anytime you ask a colorblind person what to do about color blindness, they'll tell you. And no one will do it. What do y'all think? Pink or yellow? Or green? Feel these are the best options here. Demon Dog says yellow. Okay. Bad Road says yellow. All right, cool. All right, we'll go with yellow. Alrighty. I've also got some reds, but I don't have bright reds. The last half hour of this stream is just going to be waiting for the ink to dry in a couple places. And that's very funny to me. Yeah, wow, that is so bright. That is so bright, and you can absolutely see how bright it is on the camera. So, there we go. Damn, that looks nice. The other side. Sorry, I have to do these ones off camera. It's a very, very tiny workspace. Right, and some of the ink is actually draining into it, which kind of gives it another. There we go. Some of the ink is draining into the paint because it wasn't totally dry, and that makes it look more detailed than I actually made it. So I'm very happy with that. New Twitch category, watching paint dry. Oh, fuck. Wasn't there a game about watching paint dry? Paint drying simulator or something? Let's see if that's on Twitch. Paint drying. Yeah, paint drying. Oh, there is actually one that says watch paint dry. There we go. That's our category now. Didn't work against the paint. You let it texture itself. You know what? You know what? That's absolutely true. Oh no, someone already made the joke in an official category. Yep. Didn't they do paint drying simulator and watch and play or something? Maybe? I've definitely seen it before. Oh, yeah. I know exactly who you mean, too. That's a shame. Regardless, our category is now literally watching paint dry. Which isn't exactly true, because most of what we're watching dry is, in fact, alcohol-based inks. I'm the #1 streamer in watching paint dry. That's amazing. I'm the #1 streamer in something. I'm so happy. Maybe that's what I should just label all my art streams. So that's what a good chunk of them is. Even while I'm working, you can see other paint on other parts of the models drying. Anyone doing anything exciting on the weekend? I'm probably staying home and playing video games. Ooh. One of us is going to be giving a Nargacuga a kiss. And I think finishing Teen Titans, very cool. Considering going to that art thing, I feel like I'll probably end up chickening out and just walking around town for a bit. Aw. That's okay too. Most better as excitement was last week. I often find I'm too achy and tired and old to get excited about things. In general. Just in general. Ah. All right, let's take a look and see if that ink is drying. Hmm. It's getting close. To be all the way dry before I can varnish it, though. Oh, no, that's actually dry. It just looks wet because there's a bunch of it. All right, varnishing time. Thank you to everyone who has stuck around to the end for the most exciting part. Our ah, our favorite DecoArt Americana Duraclear Matte Wash Varnish. Sorry, I added the word wash there for some reason. DecoArt Americana Duraclear Matte Varnish Polyurethane Matte Varnish. It's just this store brand from Michaels, but it's pretty good. Watch varnish dry. Very cool. Make sure there's not like a bunch of paint dust in the varnish. Go. I'm not gonna lie. This stuff just looks like semen. Fuck! I screwed something up. I can't do the varnish yet because we have to repaint the post. Yeah, that's all right. This will be easy. Wild how paint chemicals smell really good, but you're not supposed to smell them. I agree. Absolutely agree. Right. Just painting this post real quick. Start varnishing up at the top of the model and work our way down. What I think is interesting is that each paint smells distinctly different. But you can smell whatever they're using, the color. So you really shouldn't sniff at them a lot. It's just interesting. Go. Now we can start the varnishing process. Begin the varnishing process. Start on the wings. Open the wings. The fun thing about UV sensitive resin, and by fun I mean kind of spooky, is that if it is continuously exposed to like normal room lights without protection, then it will continue to cure. So actually putting a coat of paint on it is very helpful for keeping its longevity. There we go. The reason we can leave resin in the printer currently is because it actually, and this is common for a lot of current resin printers, is there's a yellow or red cover that blocks out UV light. Dash button said transrex. Found out that the smell we like in parking garages is burnt hydrocarbons absorbed by the concrete. Ah. In Canada, we call those parkades, which I'm certain places do here too. In Vernon, there was one just downtown, and it had a vertical sign with like individual light up letters on it. It just said Parkade in giant letters, and that was awesome. Danger Noodle Gun Edition. Gas Ghosts. Hell yeah. So I'm going to totally jinx us, but I'm actually kind of hopeful that our internet is going to be functional after a few more weeks of what's currently happening. I wouldn't be hopeful about that at all if someone who knew what the problem was over here, one of the cooler technicians, I forgot her name, if she hadn't specifically said, yeah, we're finally upgrading our hardware and software so that we can actually see what's happening. If she hadn't said that already, I would have no hope. But I'm trying to be positive. Just like in online games, we must be positive and uplifting to each other. Hope for the best, even if sometimes it doesn't happen. We've got currently working on the body. The head's probably going to be the last part to get varnished. I love brush on varnish, always have. It feels more personal than like spray varnish. You mentioned you get better coverage. in general. I'm really impressed by just this primer in a can that we got, though. Without too much effort, it just digs in and covers everything in primer. It'll literally take like 3 sprays total. While something like paint, it wouldn't spread out enough, or even paint plus primer, which is not something I like. Don't like paint plus primer, at least not for small projects. It's very helpful for like painting a room, not so much for painting a tiny dragon. A tiny dragon the size of your thumb. Do like tiny dragons the size of your thumb, though, as a general rule. Okay, for the head, I'm going to use, let's just do the stand here too. The head, I'm going to use the smaller brush. That's where a lot of the detail goes. The detail is stored in the face. Oh yeah, we were absolutely working as their end of the line technicians, which we knew and kept saying it. Here we go. These big companies will continue to refuse to fix things until they can find that it's too expensive to avoid for their short-term profits. And we kept that happening for a year and a half or more. Not gonna lie, even though our representative is not at fault for what happened at the end there, still have to be a little selfish and hope that she feels bad about it. So, a detail was stored on the lower back. I mean, kinda. Oh, I get it. Detail. Trying to figure out the joke that whole time. Detail is stored outside of the butt. Nose here. Now the inside of the mouth. At all these teeths. Mouth here. Get the eye. Their eye. This is gorgeous, y'all. I'm very happy with how this came out. That is absolutely beautiful. And I was right about the varnish helping the nails and stuff stick out. Any place that I've missed varnishing. Tails covered. Doing an extra layer or two of varnish rarely harms the color. So it doesn't hurt to go back over if you think you missed a spot. So long as you're using a good varnish anyway. Any kind of clear coat. If you like matte, go with matte. If you like shiny, that's good too. Some people get really angry if you use shiny varnishes on your miniatures, and I think that's very funny. Like, come on, go paint your own shit. This is a matte varnish. It's on the shinier end of matte varnishes, but it still counts. Hi, Freya. I'm glad you like this dragon. I am very happy with this dragon. Oh, that was fun. I really like painting minis. And the fact that I can just be like, hey, Katie, can you make me a mini of X? Makes it very fun. There's our dragon. Oh, I'm tired. Get a good look at this up in front of the camera before we go. Go a little further back. There we go. They're very, very metallic. I like how the nails and the eyes came out, especially. Whoosh, they're doing a little dive. Ah. Gonna scoop up a pumpkin. And they're gonna eat the pumpkin. They really like pumpkins. Favorite food. Favorite food in the world. Okay. That's it for tonight. Oh. Let's hit that schedule button and see what's coming up next. Let me look here. Tomorrow's Friday. So we got Katie playing Tales of Arise. And Saturday on the Xenon Fiber channel, someone is going to be playing Kingdom Hearts 2. Then on Sunday, Wandering Beekeeper will be playing Wildflowers. Monday is going to be September and Katie playing more Arcade Spirits, the New Challengers. And Andy playing Ghost Song on their channel, Andy Monium. Tuesday, we got Annie playing more of the Resident Evil 4 remake. Wednesday, we got Sue playing Steel Rising. And then Bad Road playing Shadowrun Hong Kong. And then Sue playing Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak with September. Thursday, I gotta figure out something to play, or maybe I'll just have more minis to paint. Who the fuck knows? And more Ghost Song with Andy. And that's the schedule. That's the whole thing. Oh, this is exhausting. Is the thing. It's so much more work than playing a video game, like physically. Probably about the same mentally. Painting a video or playing a video game while talking. Painting a video game, I could do that. Interacting with chat and everything, but this was physically a lot more work. Very possible we'll be able to get our thyroid checked by June. So maybe things can get a little less exhausting after that. And big stretches. Here's our YouTube channel. Cool stuff there. Highly recommended. It's one of the best channels on YouTube, you know. Few thousand hours of VOD up there. So check those out. And also see me painting a couple of other miniatures on there. I guess that's all the thing. Thanks everybody for coming, and we will see you next time. Good night.